Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Unnamed Podcast where I sit here with Kris for some time.
Yes.
Talking rubbish or generally whatever pops up into the dumpster fire that I call the brain. My name is Darcy. Hello. First, some housekeeping. We are aware that we missed last week's podcast. There was a post up on the channel about that. Unfortunately, I was dying and or dead at the time, so I was not able to film.
He was resuscitated, so we're fine.
I got better. I did in fact die, but I got better. Now I'm here.
Yes. Unless later on you're gonna
Die again.
And
there was nothing on Monday.
Have this sudden urge to eat flesh, and then I'm gonna turn into a zombie as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So yes, welcome back to the channel. Quick housekeeping, aka channel news stuff.
Yes.
This week has been interrupted by COVID. Thank you, COVID.
Yeah, it's always great.
Yeah, real cool of you to come in and just fucking bitch slap the shit out of me. That was great. But so there's only been one video this week. It was the payday one. So
well, we were in the club.
We're in the club.
I killed some people. I think is this the one when I went on a slight killing spree?
Yeah, so did I. This is the one where we failed twice before actually doing it properly. But doing it properly is in large quotation marks because you pretty much have to babysit me because of one thing that happened.
Yes.
So check that out. Very good.
It was a lot
in
of fun.
terms of channel stuff, we've got a Bunny Man in the works. I say in the works. Technically speaking, pretty much since last Monday, I haven't done any work on the channel, just because of how sick I was.
Yeah.
So everything's kind of like backlogged right now, and I've got to spend the rest of this week fixing that.
Well, yeah.
Getting back on top of everything.
So we should be back to normal next week.
Hopefully. I should be hopefully completely better next week. Still a bit sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of the channel news. That's where we be. We're up to 50 subscribers, which is fucking awesome.
Massive jump in 2 weeks.
The shorts really did help.
They did. They did.
And we do plan to do more of them. We just have to
get into the habit of using our phones
more. We just have to get into the habit of
recording things, filming things that are more likely to have something stupid or funny happen.
My life is stupid and funny. That's just me. Stupid, funny.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm generally living it, not recording it.
See, I tend to do the same.
Which means I have a terrible habit of not recording things because I don't need to show the world what I'm doing.
Yes.
I just do it. Problem with that is
when doing something like this, you kind of need to.
Yeah, when trying to make a YouTube channel work, you kind of have to share your idiotics with the world instead of just being like, if you were there, you were there.
We'll say
hello.
It, but it's not as good saying it.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, but it would help if we had some video of it. So
because when you talk about a chairlift just hitting me in the back of the head, it doesn't sound as good as actually watching it. Which that video is up on the shorts. Go watch it.
Absolutely. So there's a little bit of there's
a little bit of working it out and trying to get into that habit of doing it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do it more, just because it helps it gives more content to the channel. Obviously, that's great. That's what we're chasing.
But it helps spread it out more based on YouTube trying to push shorts so much.
It does, but it also gives you more of a chance to see me and Kris. And that's sort of what the whole channel is built on. I know we do a lot of gaming. I know blah 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 blah. But in reality, it's we're not sitting there quietly. When we're playing games, just being like, this is the game. This is a playthrough of the game. Yeah. It's more like we're trying to be entertaining whilst doing it also, which means that it's actually our personalities, which means that technically speaking, we should be sharing more of ourselves in the channel. True. Which is kind of what the podcast was originally all about. It was like getting our faces out there, showing off who we are, and being, having that thing where it's like, these are the people who you're listening to, whatever. And this is what we like.
Yeah, we still have our things on the wrong side.
Shut up.
They're
on the right side. It's just that the camera,
the camera flips it. Yeah.
Maybe we need to record a mirror of us. Yeah.
Or you could swap the...
No.
Nope, okay.
I put a mirror up there, then I'll face the camera to the mirror, then the camera will capture what's in the mirror, and then it'll be on the right side.
I suppose it could work, but that seems like a lot of effort.
Fuck it.
Fuck it, okay. I might do it one day.
So channel-wise, we're up to 50 subscribers. We're still working hard. We've got a bunny man in the works.
Wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It wasn't, sort of.
Look, we didn't do well, but we weren't super drained by the end.
No, but then again, we did only go for an hour. Usually those bunny men are like 2 hours long because we get into the one more go mentality. And one more go mentality is it's terrible. And we got some more stuff to film. We are actually at a point where like the bunny man is the only thing we have in the back because we literally lost last week.
Yes, and I've been quite inundated with stuff with work and all that. I haven't been able to do anything.
So anyway, that's just kind of where we at.
Yeah.
Hello. I think that just about wraps up channel news. There's not a great deal for channel news. Mainly just apologies that we missed a podcast.
And one video.
I was sick. Normally we wouldn't miss it for anything, but
honestly, we always thought it was going to be me being the cause of not being able to do it.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I actually only thought of that while I was driving around today. I'm like, wow, it wasn't me. That was the whole process. It was going to be me that caused us not to do it.
Yep. As I said, COVID kicked my ass. Still have no idea, just absolutely no idea where we got it from. Because unfortunately, in the days prior to me catching, like me
showing
being confirmed positive with it, was like, oh, okay, well,
Friday you were hanging around.
Well, it was like
Wednesday.
Wednesday, me and Chris were hanging out for a large chunk of the day.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. Then Thursday
we went out bowling.
I was hanging out with everyone. And then we went bowling, and then I went to the gym.
Yes.
Which, just that's a great place to spread stuff. All them sweaty bodies. Friday, I was like, Friday was, Friday's the night to go out.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was at the pub. I wasn't there for long. Like, it was the shortest I've ever been at the pub. Because it was fucking just atrociously dead.
That sounds about right.
Then I was like, Saturday, I was
Then again, it's been atrociously hot here.
It's true. Yeah. Saturday, I was hanging out with the crew. It's like on Sunday, I did nothing. And it's like, and I got it. And like, the symptoms arrived on Tuesday, and I was just like, fuck. Like, I honestly have no idea. I'm like, I've been doing stuff all before this.
Yeah.
It's just, the newest wave comes in and just fucks everyone's day up.
It did. Like, I was a bit off through the weekend. I don't think I had COVID, but honestly, there was a speculation of it by the time I saw it on the news that there was a new... That was mine.
That was you?
That there was a new strain going around. I'm like, but by that time I'd seen that, I was pretty much good. I was back to what I consider my 100% now.
It's just one of those things where, like, for me personally, like, I'm not out there taking risks with it because I'm like...
No.
As I've said like a billion times about COVID, I'm not worried about the short-term effects of COVID.
The long-terms where you're sort of...
I'm like, it's the long-term effects because we're already seeing people It's like
you've already seen it firsthand as
well,
to, but
yeah,
some of it can happen.
But also, like, we're also seeing people who caught it back in like the 2020 as like 4 years ago, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I'm still fucking, you know, like
I'm still getting affected by it, and it's been almost 2 years.
But it's like we're actually seeing like, oh yeah, this person has heart issues that are COVID related. Oh, this person has scarring in their lungs, which was COVID related, and it's like that's 4 years. It's like, what's there going to be like in 10 years?
See, scarring in the lungs, that's a permanent issue.
Oh, yeah.
From that point, there's no coming back from it.
So
That is
hard.
just damage.
So it's hard
happened.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's why I've always been worried with COVID, and why I haven't been. I've never been like a risk taker where it's like, oh well, if I catch it, I catch it. I've always been a little bit more careful. However, I'm also not going to live my life in fear of catching a disease and be like,
no,
I must become a hermit. It's like, nah, I'm not going to do that.
He'll do it for other reasons.
Yeah. Trying to avoid someone, become a hermit.
It'll work.
Anyway, but you know, like, so like, it was always a thing that's like, eventually my luck is going to run out because I'm not going to live my life terrified of this thing.
No.
It's like but I'm also not going to go out and take unnecessary risks. You know, I'm not going to go out to the pub and see someone being like, and be like, oh, I'll go sit next to them then, shall I? No. I'll be like, actually, I don't want to be here.
You know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to leave this place.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the bar. I'm going to ask them to pour all of their alcohol on top of me.
None of it's strong enough to do it anymore.
I know. Then I'm going to set it on fire.
Oh, hey, look, that'll do it.
Then I'm just going to run out. Why is that guy on fire running out? Oh, someone's coughing. Oh, COVID.
Oh, see, that makes sense. Kill it before it gets to him.
No, but yeah, no, but
And
like
then get down the street a little bit and start rolling around before you drive to yourself to the hospital. If you can drive yourself.
Well, can you just like cover me in all of your liquor? Why I've got to run to the hospital? Why do you have to run to the hospital?
Someone was coughing outside. That doesn't make sense.
Now for something completely different.
Yes. Are you having breathing issues? Yes.
Yeah, but that's
so much smoke inhalation.
That's just probably because the flames went through my lungs.
Yeah, that and smoke wouldn't help either.
No, what? But yeah, so like I kind of always knew that there was a chance of me getting, especially with the laissez-faire attitude that a lot of people have towards COVID these days.
Oh, especially in Queensland.
It was always bad, but like now that the government's official stance on COVID is we've closed our eyes and we're pretending it doesn't exist.
I mean, it's still going around on media, but yeah, no, that's still happening. It's only the medical side of the government.
Not even the medical.
Some like a small part of it is though. It's not a lot.
Their full stance is stop talking about COVID, please. We're pretending it doesn't exist anymore because acknowledging that it is a problem costs money.
It does.
Anyway, so because of that's the stance of the government, and the stance of the people was already kind of like, yeah, but why should we stop having fun because of this disease that, you know, whatever.
Because it'll force you to stop having fun later. Have fun with that.
People in these modern people are just so short-sighted, Chris.
Well, let's face it, it stopped me from doing anything for a while. I wasn't going out, like, very much like you, I wasn't going out to try and get it. It was like, legitimately, high chance I got it from work.
Yeah.
Like, let's face it, that's
okay, so, like, I want to break down, like, I am being hyperbolic when I say I was dying. Like, I had a cough, and I felt like I'd been hit by a bus.
Yeah.
But, and as you know, as someone who's been hit by a car before, that wasn't hyperbolic.
Yes.
Yeah. Turns out Darcy can be quite annoying.
Yeah. He's finally figured it out.
But like, so, like, it wasn't the worst sickness I've ever had. I've literally just had like a common cold and been worse off than I was with COVID.
Yeah.
But I don't think, unlike a lot of people who haven't caught COVID and are like, yeah, but it's just like a cough. It's like, no. Like, if you're lucky enough that it is just a cough and that's all you ever have, congratulations, you got lucky.
There are people in hospital
Yeah, there are thousands of people that have died from this disease. It's not trivial, but I just hate the attitude that a lot of people took with it, where it was like, oh no, everything's fine. I don't need to. No, everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know, because it's as I said, it's a non-trivial thing. It's not like, oh well, everyone's going to catch it. No, everyone's not going to catch it if we are just a little bit cautious.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I caught it, I isolated, my family got it, they isolated.
Yep.
And we literally spent the last couple of days like disinfecting pretty much everything that we can.
Yeah.
To try and stop that spread. You know, and yeah, it's just kind of like, if you get it, do the right thing, because it might not be bad for you, but you don't know what it's going to be like for the person that you give it to. Oh
yeah, and it could be quite bad, and
it could, you know, kill them.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. When I had it, I think you may have got it harder than I did while I had it. Mine was the after effects that screwed me.
Yeah. And fingers crossed, fortunately, it doesn't appear that I have any real after effects, other than just being a little bit more tired than usual.
Which is pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might last. I think they say something like, if it lasts more than 6 months, that's when they start considering long COVID.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if it only lasts a month or two, they're like, oh, you've recovered.
Exactly.
You're good.
And that's kind of the point. But as I said, for me, COVID, to wrap up this conversation about my own sickness and, you know, our experience with it, as now we've both had it. For me, it's not the actual sickness that matters. It's about doing the right thing once you know you've got it.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, not ignoring the fact. Like, if you are feeling sick, and like for me, as I said, it took me a little bit longer than it probably should have to click for COVID. But it was just that, and until I saw there was a new wave going around, COVID was literally the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
There were other reasons to explain my symptoms that it very much could explain my symptoms, because that's kind of it happens in life.
Yeah.
But once I tested, once I like thought of COVID, I tested, I isolated, I did the right thing because I didn't want to spread it, because, you know, I took a little bit of responsibility.
Oh, 100%.
And I think that if you do get COVID, do take that responsibility, because, you know, even though the government and the population at large may be like, oh, you know, yes, you got COVID and you spread it to someone and they died of it, but it's not your fault. Well, I think that's a bit of a cop-out, because it is your fault. You didn't do the right thing. If you do the right thing, the chances of it spreading minimize massively.
They become very low, yes.
And so, yeah, that's kind of a thing. And I think that's something that we really missed out on during that initial 2020 wave. Really copping the blame on people for willingly and nonchalantly spreading it. I think that they should have been
especially
held
when
accountable.
when people were having parties
to
specifically spread it, because they were, but if we catch it, we'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there was a big cop out there of being like, oh well, you know, you can't blame these people. It's like, actually you can, because, you know,
they were
much like we do blame the person who points a gun at someone and pulls the trigger. An incredibly infectious and deadly disease, and you not taking any precautions.
It's the same
to try and protect other people around you.
Slightly different, but it's effectively the same. Well, actually, no, it could be worse. Because let's face it, a person pointing a gun at someone might only kill one person. This infectious disease that you spread to 20 people, how many people are getting hit with it?
Exactly. So anyway, just to wrap that up, you know, if you are feeling sick, you know, do test yourself. Do the right thing. And if you do have COVID, just, you know, it's a week. It's a week of your life.
Yeah. Especially you get to stay at home.
You know,
where all your stuff is.
Stay at home, isolate, do the right thing. It's just a week. You're not missing out on anything.
No.
And it may seem like you're missing out on everything, especially if you're young, but you're not.
No.
you'll get better. You'll be able to go out and do everything again. You're not missing out on anything.
Nope.
Yeah, moving right along. Spyro 4, Kris.
Yes.
Big news on the Spyro front is that Toys for Bob released again, this is why I hate Elon Musk, an X message. Whatever they call them these days. But they released an X saying that 2024 is with a screenshot of Spyro from one of the games, I believe the third one from the Reignited trilogy.
Yeah.
Saying something about believing. You gotta believe or something.
Okay.
I'll quickly look it up.
Are they mixing it with Naruto?
Yes.
Because that's a definite Naruto line. Well, sorry. The English dub Naruto line.
Yeah, 100%. So,
yeah.
So, either this is some news.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, here we go. This is the exact.
Because I haven't seen it yet. I saw one.
There it is. There's that stupid X.
Yeah.
Love it.
I've seen one thing on it, but I think.
Okay, so Spyro the Dragon tweeted. It was 6th of January, so a while ago now. But unfortunately, we missed.
Okay, maybe I have seen it.
We missed last week's podcast, which would have been about the 10th.
Yeah.
So this came out literally after the last podcast, but
some of you have probably already seen this.
So if you have seen it, you'd know that the 2024 motto for Spyro the Dragon is "You gotta believe." Now, does that say Spyro 4?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily, because my biggest thing is, you know what says Spyro 4? An announcement saying we're working on fucking Spyro 4.
Which would be nice.
Like, not even... not even like a trailer for Spyro 4. Just an announcement saying, yeah, it's actually in the works.
Yeah.
Because you know what? People would fucking love that.
Oh, yeah.
But,
they would jump on that.
It is promising, because it's like, you gotta believe. And it's like, well, are we believing that you're going to announce this thing?
I mean, like, a lot of people have been talking about it and hoping for it and asking for it.
The other thing that I think is a little bit funny about it is, like, it could be that, because Spyro Reignited trilogy came out in 2018.
Yeah.
It's been 6 years?
Right, yeah.
6
roughly that, yeah.
Just under 6 years since it came out. So, technically speaking, if they were working on a Spyro 4, it would be ready to release now.
If they had started working on it straight away.
So, we could get specifically, technically speaking, we could get
You get a trailer in the next couple of months that actually does.
We could get a stealth drop. We could just literally get a stealth drop and be like, Spyro 4's out.
That would be...
It would be ridiculous.
It would be ridiculous.
That's more the old... the old school way of games. Like, that's the old school where they're just like, oh, by the way, ha ha ha.
Well, which actually wouldn't be a bad thing, because let's face it, the old school way of games, when actually buying the games as well, was a lot better.
Yeah.
At least we got a full game.
You know, like, that's where we could be. We could be at, like, the game just drops.
Oh.
But... yeah, like, a lot of people are reading into that tweet. At least a lot of people that I've been reading who mentioned that tweet are reading into being like, oh, that's the thing. It's going to be announced Spyro 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, because if you wouldn't put out something like that. For me, I 100% agree with you. It just says that Spyro is now a fan of Naruto.
Yes. That is exactly what that's saying.
Because, you know, if you wanted... there's no reason.
Oh, man, they're just doing something to fill the time. God damn it, Naruto's full of fillers.
There's no reason to think that, like, they would put out a tweet just being like, oi, keep in touch. Remember, just believe in it. And if you believe hard enough, we'll announce that we're going to start working on Spyro 4 this year. It's like, no, why the fuck would you just announce you're working on it? That's going to be so much better for everyone.
Well, see, as I said, I think the reason why a lot of people are thinking that would be something almost announcing that they're working on it is because the amount of conversation that especially me, who's sort of dropped off on a lot of the gaming conversations for quite a while, I've been seeing a lot pop up for Spyro 4. Discussion, people wanting
lots of people want it.
Like fan
as I said, my big thing is I see something like that and like people are like, oh, this is, you know, this could be the thing that means that they're going to announce that you know, it's under what, and I'm like, no, because why would you make it like, why would you drop this if in 3 months' time you're going to say, hey, we're working on it? Just say, we're fucking working on it.
Or there's plans in the work to be working.
You know, we're going to work on it. Yeah. Whatever you're doing, you just say, like, my big thing is, if you were going to say you're working on it, announce it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. You don't drop some shit like,
because this isn't a situation of them putting the feelers out to be like, oh, are people still interested? It's like, no, of course we are. Have they been on the internet recently? Of course we're interested still.
As I said though, like for me, it's just like I look at that and I'm like, okay, so you know, Spyro's still in there. Like for me, all that says is Spyro's still in that conversation.
Yes.
But what exactly in that conversation are they talking about? Because like there was a whole big thing about like Spyro, and I think the end result was, yep, we're putting him in Crash, Rumble, or whatever that fucking game is that no one cares about.
Oh yeah.
You know the Arena Fighter Crash game.
Yeah.
That came out last year.
I honestly didn't know about
Who knows when it came out, but they did all this stuff being like, oh, Spyro, and all the payoff was, we're putting him in this game. I was like, right, okay, whatever.
Well, I also saw something the other day where it looks like they're remastering Skylanders.
Oh god, that would actually be the worst thing.
Because that is the shittiest Spyro I've ever seen. And I hope it's not along the lines of, hey, this was just a way for us to announce Skylanders. Because, no. Don't.
But he's not. I was going to say, he's not really the main character of Spyro.
He was one of the main characters, though. He was,
I don't know, I didn't pay any attention.
From everything I saw on it, he was one of the main characters, and I hated the design.
Oh, he looked like a goblin.
He did. It was a goblin with wings and a tail.
But, like, you know, as I said, I just... Look, as someone who absolutely adores Spyro,
yes,
I want Spyro 4.
Oh,
and I want it to be good. So I want it to be like all the other Spyros, but just a little bit more challenging. If you're a fan of the channel, you've probably seen me play through Spyro, the entirety of Spyro 1. It's all there on the channel.
I mean, the original 3, they weren't challenging. Maybe when we were kids.
Super easy.
Yeah, it's
like the whole of Spyro 1 took me, I think, like 6 hours.
It's a quick game.
And that was to absolutely complete it.
What was it with me with a full-time job when I played it and just like sat down and played it when I got home? 2 days I'd finished all 3 games.
Exactly.
And that's collecting everything.
So like I want it to be a little bit more challenging. I want the puzzles to be a little bit harder. But you know, I don't want them to go ahead and completely change it into a modern video game, if you will.
Actually, speaking of collecting everything, there's only one game I've never managed to do it on. Jack 2. It's finding all of those orbs is a pain.
Don't see, like, most games I don't see the benefit of collecting everything.
Well, this in the Jack games, it unlocked things.
Okay.
So it had its benefits for doing it, but it's like you've got to do a whole bunch of challenges, which is good. That's still more gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
But finding them, and it was a challenge to get to a lot of them as well, because you needed the hoverboard to be able to get up over there, and then you've got to grind along it, do the jump, land on another thing. Okay. So it was still challenging stuff to it, but some of it's like, I think one of the games I just have like 10 left, and I just cannot find them. I've gone through every level.
I just, like, there comes a point, like, and it might just be because I'm a fucking weirdo, but like for me, the whole point of a video game is that it's fun.
Yeah.
So the second it stops being fun,
you drop it.
And it's like, oh, okay, to get these last few things, you've got to do these incredibly overskilled abilities that you've got to spend time working on and skilling yourself up. Or the second it becomes a chore, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Well, the only reason I was going through
which is why I absolutely hate Call of Duty, because when Call of Duty became practically a job, I went, fuck? And it was like, oh no, but here's the fun part. You have to play it every day for several hours. That's the fun part, right? It's like, no, it's not. That's do you know how the game plays shit? Well, yeah, that
doesn't make
the
it
game
better.
shit.
Yeah. The only reason I was trying to get everything in that is because Nick and I had this thing going on where we were like, let's try to get more platinums than we did last year.
Because you guys are really cool.
No.
Anyway.
We were just like looking for something to do because like nothing. When we were looking at what was coming out, we were like, there really isn't anything we're looking forward to. So we just like went down the track of like, hey, let's go through and try to do this.
We're really cool guys. Yeah, let's do this.
No, I wouldn't say cool. Definitely not cool.
So So Spyro 4 might be happening. Maybe the people who make Spyro are just really into Naruto. But
it wouldn't surprise me.
Honestly, guys, my thought process is this: if we were getting a Spyro 4 in the next couple of years,
and Naruto's involved, he will be standing on two legs the entire time with a headband on.
What we don't need is a vague tweet saying something like the motto of 2024 is "You gotta believe." What we need is Toys for Bob actually coming out and saying, "Yeah, no, we're working on it."
Actually, they could be also linking in Papa the Rapper.
Papa the Rapper.
Papa the Rapper, because that's an old PlayStation character, and that is one of his lines.
Although I will say this, because now technically I can't remember if it's actually.
It's not Naruto.
Microsoft,
because Naruto is Believe It.
Oh,
it's not. You got to believe. Papa the Rapper is.
If unless something's come up that I haven't been paying attention to, and I haven't because it was the never-ending saga, Microsoft now owns Activision.
True.
Which means, hopefully, I am going to say hopefully, but I've also seen like Starfield and stuff, and games made by Microsoft are nowhere near as money grubby as games made by Activision.
It's true.
I don't care if you want to argue that, it's the truth, okay? EA and Activision are very money grubby. Sony and Xbox are less so. Sure, they, put shops in and stuff, but they don't ruin the game by doing that. Case in point, Halo. Go play Halo Infinite. It has a shop, but you can still play the game without ever going there.
Yeah, it's not like if you don't go to the shop, you can't play anymore. It's like, no, I can still play the full game. It's just if I want to look like that while playing,
exactly,
I can.
So, as I said, I'm fairly sure that Microsoft now own Activision, or will soon own them. Yeah. So that could be a good sign for some of their, at least for a Spyro 4 being put out.
Would be good.
And, Crash Bandicoot 4 was pretty good.
Yeah.
In terms of, it didn't have a lot of monetization in it that I saw.
No. I think you can, because there is you can do the challenges to unlock the skins, or you can pay for them. So that's about all there is. But if you can do the challenge, just do it.
Yeah. So maybe if we do get maybe Toys for Bob is one of those Activision unicorns that don't get told. But how does this game make us money after the person has already spent, $100 buying the game?
By selling it to the people who have the whole nostalgia behind it. That is how you get the money.
Well, no, because remember, Call of Duty is like, okay, so, people already pay like $200 for our game. How do we get more money out of them? Oh, well, we add a battle pass. Then we add a store. Then we make the game terrible. And so the only reason to play is to work on the battle pass, and then whatever. Yes. So maybe again, don't get your hopes up is my kind of thing, because if Toys for Bob were really actually focusing on a Spyro 4, it would be announced, because we haven't there's so much stuff. There's so many opportunities where you could just say Spyro 4 and the hype would be real. Yeah. That if they are working on it, they've missed a lot of opportunity to get some really goodwill behind them.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that it's not even been announced. Let's think about things that have been announced. The KOTOR remake, which is 100% not happening right now.
Yeah.
That was announced.
True.
something else that was announced, Kris. That
quite a few things,
good or bad, but it was announced. When Final Fantasy Remakes 7 remake came out, it was announced that there would be 2 games, or 3 games. That it would be many games.
Yes.
That was almost 10 years ago now, right? That was a long time ago. But they were announced. So, like, to get this tweet and be like, oh, well, Spyro 4, it's almost certainly confirmed. It's like, well, no, it hasn't been announced. It hasn't even been announced that they're working on it, so let's not get our hopes up too much, shall we?
It was... Where the hell are you? Released in 2020.
It was released in 2020, but when was it announced?
Oh, that's a good point.
But yeah, so,
2015.
Yeah, so it's almost been 10 years. The second part's supposed to come out this year, is it not? Or next year?
Is it not already
Rebirth.
No, it's not already out yet. Let me just go back.
Final Fantasy Rebirth.
It's already on sale.
Is it?
On Amazon and JD Hi-Fi.
Okay, maybe it did come out at the end of last year.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay, so Rebirth is out. So, but it was almost a 10-year period of...
Oh, no, sorry. Never mind. It's why is Amazon got it on there then?
Because maybe...
unless they're doing pre-orders. Okay, I didn't know that. Next month.
Okay, so, 9 years from when it was first announced to when it came out. But it was announced. It was announced that they were doing it. So anyone who's sitting there going like, but they said you got to believe on Twitter, X'd it, whatever.
It doesn't really mean a lot.
It's like...
Not these days.
Have they announced it? No. Well, then they're fucking... They might be playing around with it. And like being like, maybe if we do this, we can... But until they fucking announce it, I'm done being like...
They've learned from Ed Boon. Who used to like... He always... like. Quite often he would hint at a new game, and then like after a month or two, be like, "Hey, combat pack." Yeah. It's like, oh, you bastard.
But that's kind of like my whole thing. Like, it could be like we see halfway through this year, they're like, here's this. They do an announcement trailer drop, and then it's like, here's the announcement of the game. Here's the trailer, and then it's like it'll be coming out at the end of the year, and it'll be like, okay, that'd be massive.
Oh, that would be. Huge.
But again, like, if they've been working on it in secret, it just doesn't make sense because of the win it would be to say like we're doing Spyro 4.
Oh yeah,
like that would be a massive win, especially for someone. Well, I guess again, as I said, maybe they're Microsoft now, so there's no need. But for Activision, like Activision last year needed all the wins it could get, especially after fucking Call of Duty. Yeah. And to be able to say Spyro 4, like, because that would have made everyone instantly forget. Like, you type in Activision, it would have been Spyro 4, Spyro 4, Spyro 4. All of the fucking crappy shit about the terrible Call of Duty game that they released would have just been buried.
Yeah.
By the fact that people would have been so excited for Spyro 4. So, I don't know. I personally think that it's Yeah,
well, let's hope it does come out by... it's not hold our breath yet.
Moving parallel to that, Invincible Season 2, Kris, you been watching that?
I haven't actually. I saw the first couple of episodes, but because they're doing the slow release, I haven't actually caught up with it yet.
Yeah,
I think I've watched 2 episodes.
I watched all 4 that came out, and honestly, they weren't great, but, that's kind of what happens when you release half a season and then another wait over 2 months to release the other half of the season.
Stupid.
8 episode season. There's a lot of like back and forth on the internet, like people being like, oh yeah, but animation at the quality that they're doing, it's really hard. It's like, well, hey, hold on. They've done 4 episodes. They could have done they had 2 years. They did 4 episodes. So you're saying it takes 2 years to do 4 episodes. So why do they need a couple months break to do another 4 episodes?
Yeah, no.
No. It's already done. It's just, for some reason, the people behind it... Now,
I think the anticipation is better than actually just releasing it.
He does. The director has been quoted saying that if you have a break, it lets people digest what they've seen before in the first part and then prepare themselves for the next part. I'm like, yeah, that's like if you have a week break.
Yeah,
That's what the gap between, this video and the next one that comes out next week does. When you're at 2 months, people have forgotten about it. They don't care anymore. And honestly, my actual thoughts on this season of Invincible is nowhere near as good as the first season from what's come out so far.
No.
So all you're really doing is making me kind of go like,
do I really?
Do I even care that the second half's coming out? I don't think I do.
Like unless it gets immensely better in that second half. It would need to.
But that's why this hasn't worked, because all this time to digest it and really think about it has made me go, wow, this is actually nowhere near as good as that first season.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the quality, nowhere near just the story's nowhere near as good.
No.
And
no, it's not.
If they're following the comic, that's fine, but it's still like, okay, but it's just not as good quality as the first season. The storytelling's just not the same, and that might be fine. But I think the reason is because the way they planned it. We'll release 4 episodes and it feels so slow. It feels like instead of like in the first season, it's like every episode felt like it mattered because it was like all building up that. Whereas it's like they've split the story into 2 halves, so it's like, everything that comes first is all just the build up. And it's like, I don't know if you've ever watched something where you can only see the build up, but they're the worst things fucking ever.
Oh yeah.
You always need a payoff, and there is no payoff in this first 4 episodes. There's nothing there. It's all just it feels like the whole 4 episodes were filler, which means either these next 4 are going to be great or they're going to be shit, but they still haven't been announced when they're fucking letting them go.
I think there's
the people
some
designing
shows
it are stupid.
I think there's some shows that you can do that slight break for. This one, first season, I think you can, not the 2-month break, like the week thing we've discussed. But
Weekly releases.
This second season, I'm like, I don't even know if a weekly release would have helped it. I honestly think the second, so far, with what I've seen of the second season, release it all at once for that. I don't think it had enough happening to put
a show that I think that is using the weekly release schedule. Reach a season 2.
Yes,
it is using the weekly release thing, and that's great because you watch an episode and I like to binge my shows, but I watch an episode, I watch the newest episode the day it comes out, and I go, oh, that was good.
Yeah,
because and I stop and I go, oh, I've got to wait till next week to see the continuation.
Yeah,
but every episode is building on the story, but also has its own, like the last one that just aired this week. The cliffhanger was that he's now captured by the bad guys.
Yep.
Of his own volition. But before going and capturing them, he made a phone call and said, pretty much, it's like, watch the series. It's really cool.
Oh, it is.
So he's set something up and he's now captured by them. And I've got to wait till next week to figure out to see what's going on. I'm fucking fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Doesn't mind.
We're waiting till next week, but what's going to happen? Something's going to happen. Whereas with Invincible, it's like, I've got to wait 2 months and I have no idea what's going to happen. You haven't built anything.
No.
You've been like, here's a stop, here's a plot point, here's a plot point, here's a plot point. Or none of these plot points are connected. It's like, okay, so I've got 6 plot points in the air for 4 episodes.
So how are these all going to come together in the end?
And it's like you haven't done any work.
No.
And I'm sorry for all these people who are like, oh yeah, but animation. Yeah, animation's hard.
Oh yeah.
We know this. That's why normally cartoons come out and then the video, like when they're released on DVD, they look a billion times better because they've got more time to work on it. Yeah, I just feel like Invincible has been like the first 4 episodes did nothing. They didn't do anything to push the story forwards.
Yeah.
And then next 4 episodes are like, oh, but you're really excited. No, we're not, because you didn't do anything.
No.
You didn't leave us at like, oh, but ooh, and it's like even the cliffhanger for the last episode, I was just like, oh, I don't really care, because I know how. I think
you can sort of tie it into other things that have happened in other shows.
No, it's not even that. It's
okay.
It ended with him having the shit beat out of him. His dad's being taken back by the Viltrumites, and they're like, "Fucking, if you don't fucking join us, we're gonna kill you. Your dad's gonna die, but you still have the opportunity to join us." It's like, he's not gonna fucking join you. That's not a cliffhanger. We know if he wouldn't join his fucking dad, he's not gonna join because they were like, join us. His whole thing is that he is different. He's not his dad.
Yeah, no,
he's an actual fucking hero. Yeah. Because he always wanted to be. It's like, so that's not a cliffhanger. That's like fucking. You sort of know that would be like if the Empire Strikes Back ended with instead of Luke screaming no and then jumping off the thing and then getting saved and flown off, ending with Darth Vader being like, join me. And then cutting off an ending, because you're like, well, he's not going to join him. No. He's fucking Luke. He's the good guy. He's so much better than that. But then being like, oh no, but we're going to insult you by like being like, oh, but he might. He's not going to fucking do it. What the fuck is wrong with you, director? You're a fucking moron. Yeah. No one cares.
They make bad choices. Oh,
it's just like, oh, but if you wait 3 months, you'll care. No one cares. Do your fucking job.
So I didn't give a shit when the show aired. Don't make me.
Yeah, don't make me wait 3 months, and then as I said, I'll watch the first one. If it's still the same quality as what's come out, I'm just gonna be like, oh, fuck this shit. And there is actually there's probably a more interesting story happening somewhere there.
There would be,
but we've been jumping around so much that it's like, what the fuck? Because you think about the first one, right?
Yeah.
The first one happens over a couple of months. Like the first series.
It does, yeah.
We know there's some level of time there from when he first gets his powers to his fight with his dad. There's we don't know the exact amount of time that's passed there, but it could be up to a year, pretty much.
I mean, it makes sense if it was.
Or it could be 6 months, but we know that there's a time frame. Whereas this one, it's kind of like everything's happening in the same kind of time. Like everything's happening within like a month, but then it's like they're doing stuff and it's flipping and flopping all over the place, and you're just like, what the fuck's happening? Whereas the other one was a slow plotting story that was constantly the focus. Whereas this one's kind of like, oh, look over here, pretty action scene. Oh, look over here, pretty action scene. It's like, yeah, but how did these connect to the actual story that's being told? Oh, look over here, boring dialogue scene that doesn't involve Invincible at all. What the fuck is going on? Oh, but we've got to show this. It's like, what are you actually trying to get out with this
Something big better be happening in those next 4 episodes.
But it's like, what? It's kind of like, okay, so if you think about the first one, right?
Yeah.
The first one was all about Mark deciding what kind of hero he was going to be.
Yeah.
And the overall thing of like, eventually everyone's going to find out it was Omni-Man who killed everyone.
Yeah.
Or already knew that it was him that did it, and it was, that big secret was going to come out. Mark was going to find out.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole build-up for the first one. That's always there. Whereas this second season, it's like, what's always there? Nothing. We've forgotten that, to tell a good story, you need to tell a good story.
Yeah.
You think of like things like Supernatural, right?
Yeah.
Supernatural was an episodic TV show, but every season had an overarching story.
Yes.
Whereas, like, even if the episode had nothing to do with that story, it was always there in the background, plodding along.
Yes.
We were always moving closer and closer. That's what season 1 of Invincible is like. That's what most good stories are like.
Arguably all good stories.
You can... well, not all good stories have kind of episodic natures. Some just stick to the main plot.
Yeah,
but like you can have an episodic natured TV show where each episode they're doing something that is wrapped up in that episode, but is pushing them towards the overall thing. Avatar: The Last Airbender comes to an example.
Yes, yeah.
But you've always got to keep moving towards that end plot.
Yeah.
Well, Invincible Season 2 doesn't seem to be doing that. We seem to be just episodic. And it's like, what the fuck? You know? What the fuck is actually happening there? No one knows. I don't know. Do you know? No one knows. It's just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I might watch the other couple of episodes when I get home, but I may also just wait for the... Because, as I said, I like to binge my shows as well. And honestly, that's... I think the first season I binged. I didn't... I waited for all to come out because I just didn't see it as something that I could watch and then be like, oh, I can't wait for next week. It's like, no, I watch it all now or I stop.
Yeah, look, I'll say that was the same with the first season for me. I didn't watch it episodically. I don't think it would have worked for me episodically because some of the endings just aren't in some of the way some of when the episodes end you don't care enough to go to wait for the next one.
Yeah, and that's why again I waited because I watched an episode at someone else's place and it's okay, but I'm not going to start it yet because I know it's not all out yet. I think he showed it to me and there was 2 episodes out. Like, I'm going to wait.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think it's so stupid that this guy's like, he thinks that what he's put out so far is good enough that people will sit there and digest it and be like, let's wait for
but that's also the problem. It's like
vanity.
Well, no, yes, but not what I meant by that is I find it these days with some of the shows that are out that people will just watch shit and talk about how good it is and everything like that, and I sit there watching it like, how is everybody hanging off this? How? Yeah. What is good about this?
And
then like the way a lot of animation styles are going these days, it's like, why the fuck are we going backwards? It's like, yes, it looks better than it used to, but we're going back to where it used to be, but looks slightly better because the technology we have is better.
I'm not going to lie to you though. I think with animation, it's a real mixed bag.
It is.
Especially when they start using 3D animation. I really don't like the look of 3D animation compared to 2D animation.
Yeah, I don't think
2D...
It works in some scenarios.
I find it incredibly jarring because I can always tell when we're in 3D animation and it's like, oh...
So, I don't mind it... If you're... So, talking about anime as an example, you know what they tend to do in a bunch of stuff now is in the fight scenes they use the 3D animation because it's a lot easier for them.
Yeah,
but I think
hate that.
In some things, I think it's actually more forgiving in some areas. But in a lot of things, it just doesn't work.
It's definitely more forgiving, but nothing is more jarring when you see some really crisp 2D animation.
Oh, it is, yeah.
And then because the next scene is got a lot of action, a lot of stuff, they switch to 3D animation with the 2D backdrops.
Yes.
And you just go, oh god, this looks atrocious.
That's where I 100% cannot...
you go, oh.
I can't accept that. If you've got the 3D backdrops with the 3D animation, it's like, okay, I can forgive it because it works. It makes sense. But as an example of a movie that kind of did it, and a lot of people love the movie, is the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. When I sat there watching it, I went through it and I'm like, I counted at least 3 or 4 times during that main fight scene where it changed. Now, I don't mean changed from one back to the other. There was 4 different art styles.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, I just don't.
Ridiculous.
I prefer the crispness of 2D animation.
Gosh, as do I. Because I'm seeing it coming up on my feed quite a lot with people looking at... They're redrawing Dragon Ball Super in the old Dragon Ball Z style, and it just looks so much better.
It does. Because it is a more crisp style. Like the 3D modeling, you can have really great 3D models if you are willing to spend the time on them. But again, you're going to run into the same thing, and because they're using 3D as a way to cut time out of it, you're not getting the best. Like I'm thinking of, I don't know if you've seen it, but Overlord.
Yeah.
Overlord has, most of the characters are drawn.
Yes.
Just drawn.
Yeah.
But whenever it's like the skeletal warriors and stuff,
it's 3D.
They're 3D, and
it just doesn't suit.
God, are they bad in comparison to it?
Yeah. Well, another one that I've tried to watch because I'm okay with
like maybe my thing is though maybe it works because they're supposed to seem otherworldly and wrong.
Maybe.
But I just look at them and I'm like, they don't fit. Like they really
and
don't
look,
fit.
I don't get me wrong. I get why they did it.
Yeah.
It's a massive pain to draw a skeletal army.
Oh yeah.
And have them moving about. It would be a massive pain.
But,
so I get why they did it.
You look at the 3D
understand
skeletons compared to when they have him on the screen and he's like just drawn.
And he's a shit ton better.
He looks like he belongs in that anime, whereas they look like they've been like. It almost looks like they've just stolen.
Are they going for like a? I don't want to call it a joke, but are they going down the side of it, calling it a joke because they've been reanimated?
I know.
I hope not, because
as I said, I think it's one, it's to save time. Two, it's to save
100%.
Trying to, because they're skeletons, so drawing each bone every time they move would be a pain in the ass, especially like when you've got hundreds of them marching and stuff like that. But again, it's just one of those things where it's like when you see them compared to them, it's like they really look out of place, and maybe that's kind of what they're going for. But at the same time, you also just like.
Yeah, well, another show that I sort of tried to watch because I saw a couple of the fight scenes and I knew it was 3D from the fight scenes. And I'm like, they actually do look. The fight scenes look pretty good because the backgrounds were done in a very similar style. Okay, that's not too bad. And then, but as soon as it gets out of fight scenes, it looks like an absolute fucking track. God Eater was the one I forgot to say the name. I tried to watch it because I thought the fight scenes were pretty good, and then I started watching it like, oh my god, I can't fucking stand this.
Yeah.
Just because they tried it with everything, and I get some people like it. Some people do. I don't agree with them, but some people do like that style.
Like teach their own. But I'm just like I'm just not a big fan of, especially considering so I play a lot of video games.
Yeah.
And like Japanese video games.
They tend to be 3D animated in that sort of style.
They do,
and it works, but that's because the whole
anything that's like based on an anime has the worst 3D. Has some of the worst art in it that you can imagine.
It does.
I feel free to disagree with me on that, but like you can.
Well, especially if you're comparing it to the anime itself, because we're so used to it being drawn that it just works.
Yeah.
I forgive the Dragon Ball games.
Even the Dragon Ball games are like, yes, I forgive them, but I'm like, I look at them and I'm like, fuck, you would not think that this came out in the same year as you hold up another game that came out the same year as like those games.
Oh yeah.
And you go, God, they look rubbish.
One that I was sort of, kind of okay with. It's a tough one. I had very mixed feelings about Fighter Z because they went more of a comic style.
Yeah. But even, I'm talking about like games like okay, let's look at Dragon Ball Z Breakers. Now I know that that's supposed to be Dragon Ball Z, but with 3D models and 3D worlds,
actually, what's that other one?
It looks rubbish compared to other games because it just like it. Maybe it's because they're trying to keep the style, but the thing is like when you try into a 2D style into a 3D thing, it doesn't look as good. Even like the One Piece games. They're nowhere near as good looking as games that have come out when they've come out.
Yeah.
And for a really good example, you've got that Shonen Jump game that came out that everyone lambasted.
Jump Force.
Jump Force, that's the one.
That I was actually trying to remember. That's what I was looking at.
That was absolutely rubbish.
It was. Well, you only looked at some of the animations. They didn't put effort into the cutscenes even.
No, they didn't. They didn't.
Like, with what they did is... and one of the biggest things that people said about was Frieza was flying and he was going to land. It's as if they just had a model of it and they're holding up with a string, moving it across, and then placing him down because they didn't have the tail dropping, his feet. Normally, when he's, especially in the anime, his feet are hanging down because, let's face it, if you're flying around, why the hell are you keeping your feet in a standing position?
Yeah, but like, anyway.
But again,
but as I said, like, so like that was a game. I can't even remember when that came out, but like, we are in the era. We are in the era of games that people are playing.
Yeah.
That look almost photorealistic.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You compare Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
That is a game that some of those vistas look photorealistic. It looks amazing. And you compare that to some of these anime-based games, and you're like, oh,
I get why anime-based games aren't going down that track, because making them look photorealistic is probably... that itself would be a bit jarring.
But making games look like beautiful is a thing, and I just like there's a lot of games out there that I'm just like, these games don't look beautiful. They look like they were just rushed, and it's like the 3D models in them, and I'm like, and unfortunately, I feel the same when I see some 3D models in animated stuff. I'm just like, it feels like I'm playing a rushed video game.
Yeah,
where they've like just taken this asset and put it in there because, well, we needed this asset, and it's like, okay, but you didn't make that, and it doesn't fit with everything else you've done.
No.
But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to bring up that Invincible stuff because I was like, it was a series. I loved season 1. Yeah. I thought it was really good.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
And I was like, absolutely great. Season 2 came out. I was like, yep, this is gonna be good, and it's just probably the biggest disappointment.
Yeah.
And the fact that they still haven't released the second, the second part of series 2. Why the fuck? Yeah. I can't. Considering it was all wrapped up in November,
November.
Yeah, all the stuff had come out in November.
I didn't realize.
And they were like, "Oh, we're waiting until 2024." It's like, what the fuck are you playing at?
Why?
There's no reason for it.
Oh, it's a waste of time.
Anyway, that's all fucking done. I'm done with complaining about that crap.
Oh, that's fair.
Instead, let's complain about women. No, I actually do. I have a little bit of a thing here for you. Ooh, awesome. Yeah.
What have we got?
So we me and Kris here. We are good friends. So what I thought I'd do, Kris, is a compatibility test.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Because we're working together. I thought I would jump on the internet, find a compatibility test, and see if we are compatible to be on this podcast, doing podcasty things. So this is a relationship compatibility test. So I'm going to read out the questions. I'll give the answer. You give your answer to see how we cope at the end of it. Okay. So here we go. The relationship compatibility quiz. Sex. How sexually fulfilled do you feel? 1. The sex is terrible.
Yeah, it's hot. No.
I just want Kris to love me, but he doesn't. So we're going on 1. That's a 1.
Yeah.
Fun, sense of humor, shared interest. How much do you laugh together? Oh mate, I got 8.
Yes.
It's out of 10, by the way.
Yeah, I can agree with an 8.
We'll go on 8.
We'll go on 8. That actually sounds pretty good.
Shared values. Do you have similar philosophy? Do you have a similar philosophy of life and moral code? Oh, I reckon that's about a 7.
Yeah. I wasn't going to put it at an 8, that's for sure. But yeah, no.
Here we go. Common goals. Ooh. Are you heading in the same direction? Do you want the same things, or is there room for compromise?
I think we want this channel.
That's a 10. We're definitely
100%.
Social life, friends and family. How happy are you with the level and quality of the interaction? I'm going to have to go with 5.
Yeah.
Because I do interact with my friends and family. So do you.
Yes.
You interact with each other's friends and family. I just dislike it.
No, I agree with that.
So that's a 5. Oh, here we go. Conflict resolution. How well do you both manage disagreements? Do you respect each other's boundaries? Are you able to ask for what you need? I'm going to go for a 2 for that. Because generally, whenever we have a different disagreement and there's a conflict between us, it ends with you getting slapped. And me.
No, you're right, it does.
So I'm right and you get slapped for being wrong. So we'll go for a 2. Communication. Do you know what's going on in each other's life? Are you both interested? I'm going to go with 3. Because I do know what's going on in your life. I'm just not interested.
I don't tend to talk all that much on that side of things.
Chores. How happy are you both with the way chores are shared? Well, I do all the work and you do nothing, so that's a big old fat 1.
Hey, look, I show up.
Do all
maybe
the work.
A 2. I would think a 2.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
You're wrong, but I'll give it to you.
No. I show up. I do recordings and
emotional support. How supportive is the partner, especially in times of stress and illness? Look, because of the COVID, I'm going to give you a 4 on that one.
Yeah, I did ask how he was doing.
He did. Normally, I'd put you down as a 1, but career support. How supportive is the partner in your career or other aspirations? You know what, I'm going to give you a 7 for that one, Chris.
I think so. I was about to say 8 because of, Actually, no, 7, that's right. Yeah, okay, I could actually be editing videos.
I think I have to click this to get my score.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Neither do I. I haven't seen the phone once, but I'm assuming it's just a white page with a question and some boxes.
There's a bald man in the picture.
There's a bald man in a picture?
Yeah. Okay, next.
Is he in a metal band?
No, surprisingly.
Oh, that's a shocker.
Okay.
We'll get back to you on the results. It'll happen soon. Actually,
I've completed it.
This bit of silence will probably be cut out, but
Okay, this is weird.
Okay.
It's telling me to get my scores and feedback, but then there's nothing to press.
Okay, why don't you just sign up for something?
No, because there's nothing to press.
Give us a look.
So you go through, you click all that, right? And
yeah.
then there's just nothing to press. It just ends.
Well, that was useless.
Fucking useless.
Are we gonna have to do another one?
Maybe. Let me see. Take us back to the top. Nice. Yeah.
Oh damn.
Yeah, that's all I've got. What'd you do? It's congratulations, you've done it. Get your score and feedback. Where do you get this score and feedback?
What the fuck?
What's happening?
I just got a message from Jaden. What do they call them? American horse pirates again?
American horse pirates?
Yeah. I have no idea.
American horse pirates?
That was random enough for me not to... I have no idea. I'm speechless on that one.
Hey, what's an American horse pirate?
The fuck is an American... What is... You know what? I'm going to search it up.
What?
Just search up American horse pirate.
American horse pirates. What the fuck, man?
There's a shirt? Fucking horse.
Okay.
Is he thinking cowboy? Is that what he's thinking? I'm sorry. I've just seen a photo that says someone in my Norwegian class didn't know the word for cowboys, so called them American horse pirates. Been laughing at it for about an hour.
Maybe he saw that and is trying to get the joke. But yeah, that's cowboy.
Yeah. It's just saying it that way. Just
I got another one. As a couple, would you say that you share a common vision of your future? Mostly, no. Not at the moment. Mostly yes or yes. I say mostly yes.
Mostly yes, yeah.
Yeah, mostly yes.
Again,
we don't have it all plotted out. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Okay, here we go. Question 2. there's this bar here that goes from 0% to 100%, but there's no numbers on the bar. The bar just goes, and because 100% technically starts.
Yeah. So is that about 20%?
I
I'm estimating that 20%.
I've done one question.
Fuck, okay.
If someone asked you how compatible you were as a couple, what would you say? We're just rubbing along.
Just what?
Rubbing along.
Rubbing along. Okay.
We don't have that much in common. Our relationship isn't perfect, but we are strong as a couple. We see ourselves as very connected and are on the same page about things that are most important to us. I reckon our relationship isn't perfect.
Yeah, I reckon so.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know how much. I don't get what 30% maybe.
Well, now maybe that's a second question.
How do your political views match that of your partner? It's like night and day. We avoid talking politics. We scream our differing points of view at each other.
I think we
on a
mostly
few things
agree.
we match, but a lot of the time we agree to differ. I think that's.
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
I think that's. When it comes to religion, are there any points of contention? We don't talk about religion. We never agree on this and argue all the time. We do differ in some ways, but we have very similar ideas.
That's
Okay. How do you spend your spare time as a couple? We don't really spend much of our free time together. Agreed. We argue a lot about not spending enough of our spare time together. We tend to pursue our hobbies separately, which works for us. We have a nice balance between shared interests and separate hobbies. I think it's that one.
Yeah.
We go bowling.
The other stuff did. Yeah, 100%. Occasionally go to the pub.
When it comes to finances, how does your attitude differ from your partner? We don't bother talking about money.
Yep. There's no point. Mine's fucked.
No point. Chris makes terrible monetary choices, and I am very impulsive.
Which,
as a couple, would you say that you regularly share a laugh together? Humor jars with one? No, not really. No. We do have a giggle together sometimes. We share a laugh most days. It makes us feel connected. It's got to be giggle together.
Yeah, I think so. It just sounds better, to be honest.
Well, I don't laugh with you every day. Sometimes I just make fun of you. During the holiday season, how easy is it if we decide whose family to spend Christmas with? We tend to split up and visit our own families.
Yes.
How close are you when it comes to sex and intimacy? We just have mechanical sex. We are pretty passionate. It's the one area that's always been good.
Okay.
We like to hold hands and have a cuddle. That's it.
That's the one.
When it comes to talking about raising a family,
no.
It's a real bone of contention as we differ about most things. Yeah, that's it.
Sounds right.
Wait, we realize that we have to compromise. Yes.
Okay, fair.
Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay, let's see our results. Click next to see your results. There's no next button. It just says submit. Hold on. You're aware of your mutual areas of compatibility as well as your differences and are mostly able to compromise and work together.
There we go.
Look at that.
Seems about right.
I'll read you the whole thing. The challenge for you may be that sometimes you don't feel confident enough to speak up if you aren't happy about something. Instead, giving in to the sake of a quiet life. I don't care about this.
Okay.
Mostly compatible.
Yeah.
It's just that sex.
We got it. Yeah, look. That's probably not going to change.
Oh man, that was actually pretty funny. It does actually raise like one of the funniest things, which is like I do generally hate people.
Yes.
Unless I'm drunk.
No, I still hate them then.
No.
Yeah.
But see, I've actually spent a lot of my time realizing this about myself.
Yeah.
If I meet someone and I'm not drunk, I'll probably just ignore them.
Seems right.
Spend my time watching them, deciding whether or not they're worth my time. But if I meet someone and I'm drunk, they're my best friend.
Oh yeah.
And
I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah. So like, as a drunk person, I'm a lovely person to be around. But only then.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, I deal with the outside of that. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I am just the worst. A real piece of shit.
Look, it's only when I get slapped that it's the worst. But even then, It's not hard enough for me to care.
That's because I'm nice, Kris. That's because I'm very nice. But no, speaking of that, Kris, have you? We just did our compatibility test. Very compatible. Mostly compatible.
Well, yeah. There's some areas.
We know what we are.
Yeah.
But no. Do you ever feel just want to tell the truth, Kris? Do you ever just want to tell the truth?
About what specifically?
No,
that's a very generalized.
I've realized saying that kind of makes it seem like we're constantly lying, not only to each other but to everyone. And all I can say to that is absolutely, of course.
Oh, yeah.
You all think my name is Darcy. You haven't seen my birth certificate.
Oh, it's fuck.
It's actually Davey.
Oh damn.
Gosh, you all know. But like, I don't know. Specifically when it comes to other people, Kris, have you ever been like, I would like to tell you the truth, but I'm actually worried about how you will react to it?
In most cases, I don't think I've held back all that much.
There you go. In most cases, Kris doesn't think.
Fuck. Damn, those words did come out of my mouth. I said I don't.
He just does.
I don't believe I hold that back all the time. There are times where I'm like, look, I probably shouldn't say this right now, but it is something that I will say. I don't tend to
see. For me,
avoid.
For me, it's kind of like it kind of comes into, as I said, how I see people, and it's like if I care about you, I'm not going to tell you the actual truth because I think it might upset you, or it might affect you in a way that I don't mean it to. But if I don't, care, it's like I will tell you the fucking truth straight off. It's like, yes, you are a terrible human being.
Get the fuck out of my face. So, I understand where you're coming from there. Yes, I agree with that.
Right.
That does make sense. There are certain things that I won't say because it's like that could be very damaging to like a friendship or anything.
Our relationship.
Yes.
That could be damning.
Yeah. So there are certain things that I won't say. That there may be a time down the track where it's like, it's got to be said, or else. I think I 100% agree with you. There's definitely times where it's like you've got to say what you mean to say, and I get that 100%. I get that. But otherwise, I think in most cases I will still tell the truth. But as I said, there's definitely times where I will. It's not as if I'm lying to them. I'm just not saying it.
Well, that's a good point. Like half truths and. Goblin men.
That's it. But it's there are just times where you just don't say it.
Look, I will agree with you. There are times, especially recently, where I've like obfuscated the truth. Where it's been like, I've said something, and then they're like, the person's like, huh? And it's like, not like that. You kind of like pull it back from where you were, but no. So.
But I think that's a situation where you have told the truth, they've just taken it the wrong way, and you've got to be like, hang on, stop.
Let me explain what this actually
You're taking this the wrong way. Yeah.
No, I get that. What about what is... I did allude to this earlier. What is the craziest thing you've ever done to impress a girl? Or try and impress a girl?
Fuck.
Now, I have an opinion on this.
I'm aware you have an opinion.
Which I think is agreeing to house sit for her 2 weeks after reconnecting? A week after reconnecting? 5 days after reconnecting. I'll house sit for you. I'll look after your animals.
It was one of those things that she asked me because she could not find anyone else that could do it. So she asked, and I was like, look, I can.
But was the goal to impress her there?
No.
Were you hoping that she would be like, oh, why, thank you, that's so kind of you?
No. I'm aiming for nothing here.
I'm aiming for nothing, he says.
It's like I'm not going into this being like, oh, I hope something comes out of it. Like, oh, no, I'm genuinely just helping her out because no one else is.
So you're saying that because you have no ulterior motives, you think that it's not trying to impress her with your reliability?
Pretty well, yes. But again, I
am different.
In my opinion, I know you've got.
This is a man who left this today to go and do manual labour in the horrid, hot, humid conditions.
I thought it was going to be fucking inside in the aircon. That's my bad. But you know,
not sure how.
Okay, because I knew it wasn't going to be gardening. There's this.
But again, I'm not trying to impress a girl, he says. I'll tell you mine. Mine's actually quite stupid and funny. I was very drunk, and she was very attractive and had red hair, and you know how I feel about that.
Yes.
It was that dyed red hair that it just drives me crazy. Anyway, but yeah, so me and the girl, we were at a party, and she was like, "I've got to go home," and I was like, "Okay, well, you know, I'm a gentleman. I'll walk you out to your taxi." So I walked her out to the taxi, and like after like 20 minutes, there was still no taxi. She's like, "Where the fuck is this taxi?" I was like, "Oh, where do you live?" And she was like, "Oh, across the other side of the city." And I was like, "Because we're in Sydney. I was in college.
Yeah.
I was in Sydney," and I was like, "Oh, you know," I'm like, "Well, we could just walk there, you know, that'd be cool." And she's like, "Oh, but I'm in high heels," and I was like, "I can piggyback you there." So I piggybacked a girl all the way across the CBD of Sydney.
Oh no!
And you know what? I got a kiss for it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a waste of time. It put me completely away from where I wanted to be, but
of course it did. Yeah. No. I haven't done anything to that sort of extent.
Fortunately, I am a giant human being, and she was quite petite. But yeah, no, I was quite drunk, and I'm just sprinting with this girl on my back.
Which that is just straight up drunk you anyway, so it's no different.
It is drunk me.
See, my thing is like I don't aim to just constantly do things that might impress someone, because it's like, and I've like
just don't care.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those, and I've had a conversation with someone else about it before, and it's like, "Oh yeah, do you try to impress girls with your car?" I'm like, no.
No, I understand it's not impressive.
Yeah, and it's me just putting my foot down in the car means fucking nothing. I drive the way I drive because I want to, but when I've actually got a girl in the car, I actually drive like a sensible.
I drive like a human.
I drive sensibly. When I'm the only one in the car, though, that's a different fucking story. But
he can't drive. What Kris is alluding to there is he is a terrible driver.
No, it's not that I can't drive. It's this. I do reckless shit.
This must be stated. When we went on our snow trip, it was decided by all of us, not just me, but all of us, including you and Jordan, that I am in fact the best driver of the three of us.
No, I wasn't disagreeing with that, but that doesn't. Are you saying that I'm a bad driver just because you're the best of the three of us? Doesn't really make sense.
A non-moving kangaroo. Like, you had to move to hit it. Had you done nothing, you would have missed it.
Actually, no, I still would have hit it. I would have. No. What I was actually trying to do was get it underneath the car so I didn't actually run over it.
Yeah, but it was next to... If it was next to the car, what you did was put the wheels directly on it.
No, it wasn't actually next to the car. That's the thing.
I was there. I saw it happen. Jordan was there. He saw it happen.
He was fucking half asleep in the back. What are you on about?
He was the one that was like, "So what you've done there is literally driven into it." And I was like, "Yep, I did notice that. Yep, 100%." Because we were driving along, and I'm like, "Okay, so we might want to come this way a little bit just to avoid it." And you went, "No, here's my plan. I'm going this way, so I hit it."
What my actual thought process was, I don't like the edge of this road because it's a Queensland fucking road, and I'm like, do I go for that, or do I try to actually put it underneath the car?
Do I hit it, or do I not hit it?
Do I hit it?
I'll hit it.
Do I hit it, or do we go off the road? I was avoiding off
that was
road because it was because that fucking road was horrid, man. And we were doing that at 6 o'clock at night.
It was dusk. It was dusk when we did that. Yes.
Like when that situation actually happened, it was dark, and it's like the visibility was poor.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Like, it was
I'm not arguing about the quality of those roads, but I'm just saying that
I'm aware of what happened. But the main point.
As someone who did the majority of the nighttime driving, I did it twice.
You did do it
on
twice.
That trip. Yeah, I didn't hit anything. And I also had the issue of the first
Most
night.
of your driving at night was in New South Wales.
True, but at the same time, unfamiliar roads.
No, so was what we were on.
True.
So was what I was driving. Unfamiliar roads, potholes everywhere.
Okay, let me go. Unfamiliar roads.
Yes.
Maniac truck driver.
There was a maniac truck driver. There was. Okay, I'll give you that one.
And Jordan sitting in the back screaming chickens every time a kangaroo.
You did do that. I forgot about that.
Which,
I think it was your story about calling them sheep when they were cows.
Dude, that's just
that's
just my brain breaking. But
I think Jordan heard that and he was just like decided to say chickens every time he saw a kangaroo.
But for me, it was.
Or is he?
Okay, so for me, it was this, right? We were moving away from. So it was my parents' car, right?
Yes.
That's the thing. So when Kris was driving at night, we were coming back, so we were getting closer to them. Whereas for me, we were driving away,
yes.
And not only were we in a completely different state,
yes,
we were near Dubbo. And there's a few things about Dubbo that I know that you might not know, that you might know
probably
now.
True.
Yeah. Especially after the whole incident with me coming back upstairs and being like, I'm pretty sure there's a drug deal going on downstairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Dubbo's not a great place.
No.
I believe they've got a lot of meth problems.
That sounds about right.
But anyway, no.
Yes.
Yeah, no. But yeah, so like, and I think it was just that. I was gonna say it was later, but it was kind of the same time.
It was about the same time because we were
heading towards
darker
there. I will say it did get darker earlier down south.
It did
because it was getting dark by like because on the second day that I was driving in the dark-ish. It was sort of dark, the twilight.
It was getting.
It
dark
was only 4 o'clock.
I think that's just because of where we were, to be honest.
Yeah, it's 100% where
it's 100% because of where we were.
It was getting dark by 4 o'clock, and that's like because we
drove, it's because we were going between mountains for the most part.
But we drove from. We did the Canberra to the snow is about an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes,
roughly,
and we left Canberra at like just before 3 o'clock.
Yes.
Because we got caught up shopping.
We did.
I was trying to remember why we were there so late. I was like,
it's because we had to do our grocery shopping.
Because
we didn't have to do.
We didn't do anything in Canberra until we actually decided to stay in Canberra. But then I remember that we stopped at the shop.
We did stop.
And we were at the shop for like 3 hours.
We were there trying to see if we could, like, there was things we get to, if it was actually colder there than we thought. Wasn't actually that bad.
No, Jordan used his jacket a couple times.
Yeah, he did.
And I did use that bag extensively.
You did, yeah.
My bag full of plastic.
I mean, I did. Technically, all I did was buy 2 shirts. I did use those.
Yeah, I bought shirts. That's right. I fucking had to fucking dress you at one point with the glasses.
The glasses.
And Jordan. I fucking going through shit with Jordan. No, these aren't
So
good.
see, I was looking at glasses, and then you sort of just took over.
That's what I do.
Yeah, you just took over.
There's a reason you're trying to steal my style.
No, fuck off.
But no, I actually totally blanked and forgot that we spent like 3 hours shopping, which is hilarious to me because like I was like, I want to check out the DFO and see if they've got anything worthwhile.
Well, we were looking for stuff, and we had to look at like a bunch of different stores. Then we were looking to see if we could actually find some
and then it was
alcohol
just
that seemed cheaper, and then it was just like, it's not actually cheaper here.
No. But then it was just Canberra being Canberra, and the fact that it was like...
Trying to figure out where the fuck we were going.
It's just such
God,
a shit
fucking
city.
pain in the ass.
Although I will say, or in hindsight, we did end up not doing any of our actual shopping in Canberra. We went back into New South Wales.
We did. Yeah.
We went into
and one of those turn-offs was like, I think the fucking GPS was trying to catch up with that one. And it's just like, we need to turn right here. It's like, we're on the wrong lane. It's like, for fuck's sake.
But anyway.
Because it was such like a... We came around a corner and we needed to be in the right lane immediately. And we're like, fuck, I don't...
We blamed Kris for that because Kris was bad at directions. And it was like, it was a situation where it's like, because Canberra is Canberra, it's like you need to. It's like, oh, I need to turn it at three streets up. It's like, oh yeah, you need to be in the turning lane now, not in 3 streets.
But the thing is, we were just coming off of like a turn, and I noticed it happened a couple of times in Canberra, where it's like, okay, we've got to go this way, and it's like, okay, we get onto the street facing the correct way, and then it would just change the fucking direction as to which way it's going. It's like,
yeah.
Where the fuck do I go?
But yeah, no, that day in Canberra, like we spent, we were there. We got to Canberra at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was about 10.
We got to the shopping centre we wanted to go to, the DFO, at 11.
Yeah.
It took us an hour of driving to get through around Canberra.
And there was no issues with getting there, like no wrong turns or anything. It just took an hour.
It's just Canberra's hard. And
we were going the outskirts of it too, so I suppose they did have their fucking, like, there was like a event going on as well.
That was when we were back there.
No, that was the day we were going through initially.
No.
Yeah, because it was as we were coming through, going around the outskirts, they were actually, there was a lot of like stalls in their like showground, I'm going to call it, in that area. We were avoiding it. Most people...
No, Floriart, the flower festival, that was happening the day we were staying there. Because remember we had to cross the bridge past it?
No, but there was something else happening as we were going through. Because I noticed there was a lot of people trying to turn off, and we're like, oh,
might have just
glad we don't need to be in that fucking lane.
That was definitely Floriart. Because
I think it happened both days, but I didn't say
that was when we were on the
day.
bridge. Because I was like, oh fuck, I brought us...
Yeah, okay, so that's... Yes, that is true.
I want to get us into the middle of Canberra.
That's not where I'm talking about, though.
Okay.
So this was in a... as we actually got into Canberra, we sort of stayed in the outskirts.
Yeah.
To get where we needed to.
Kind of how you have to navigate Canberra.
Pretty much.
It's just the fact that
whereas the Floriart, we were actually going into Canberra for it. So the first day there was something happening there as well, but it wasn't.
Might have just been because we were there on a Sunday. It might have just been like a Sunday market or something.
I think so.
But it was fucking ridiculous. Canberra has always been ridiculous. I know it's ridiculous, but like because of the way it is, you've got to like skirt the outskirts. But then it's like the outskirts are like you go in at like.
Oh, even trying to like when we went to Parliament House, getting out of there and getting to the. it's like you look at the way everything's set up and you're like, I should be able to go that way. And it's like, no, you can't go that way at all. That's a waste of your fucking time. That's bullshit.
That's Canberra.
So and when it was because when we actually got
not
in
only
the car,
politics there are a waste of time, but driving around there is also a waste of your time.
Because like when we were actually trying to leave Parliament House, I was looking at it and you started driving. I'm like, I'm still waiting for this to actually figure out where the fuck we are. And we get to a point. I'm like, just trying to look at the map, like trying to figure out where we are by just looking at the map because we weren't on the fucking map yet. I'm just like, I think we turned left here because you're like, which way do we go? Which way do we go? It's like left, I think. And then it loaded and it was like we needed to turn right. It's like
it was hilarious. Anyway, I think we're done here today. Thank you again for joining us. If you like this video, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. We really appreciate all of it.
Yes.
Once again, thank you for coming back.
Yes.
We hopefully will be honky dory
back to normal
next week.
Yeah.
And I can go back to licking all the eyeballs that I feel like.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Chris?
No, I think we pretty much.
Okay.
I think I touched on everything I was going to.
Until next time, guys. I've been Darcy. He's Chris. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, I guess the point that I want to leave on is stay tuned to the channel for more shorts, which are just going to be, snippets of our life, I guess. And if you like the stupid shit we're doing, do check out this podcast because this is where we are.
This is where we talk about.
Yeah. And, moving forwards, I think the podcast is going to become more relaxed, more of a chill chat between people. There might be some more special guests this year. That is a plan of mine, is to get more people involved in this, just so that we can have, more of a conversation, more stupidity.
Yes. It's good having that extra person to bounce
Absolutely.
on.
Oh, yeah. See you later, guys.
See ya.